back-to-back, great example here, guys. Now over on gold, 1029 and 1038, 10 minutes apart here. Now look for a second, guys. The first trade's a reversal. Short-term trend is down. We're going to bounce off the low of day. Now, guys, what do we always like to see? Look at this. There's that lower, right? That one tick lower low. There's that one tick lower low right there. Now, what do we always think about when we see the one tick lower low? We imagine those sellers doing everything they possibly can to push the price down, and they run out of gas, they're exhausted, the buyers can feel it, and they're going to jump in now. And whenever we see that one tick lower low, mark up that swing high, take a break above that swing high, and there's your two-step pattern long, 91.8. We took 2 off at 4, moved my stop to entry plus 1. Now, I didn't get filled here until 91.8, so I wasn't filled till about right here. So you can see what happens is I put my entry plus 1 for the stop, and I got bounced out a little bit early, right? A little bit early there, but we got our plus 12 ticks. We got 120 bucks out of the first trade. And again, the big sign here was that one tick lower low, bouncing off the low of day. It's called a two-step pattern long. Guys, this is a real popular pattern. And then, guys, if we ever get bounced out early, if you ever think to yourselves, boy, I wish I was still in this trade right now, which I did here for sure, I want to make sure I grab my wave pattern long. Okay, so we took the two-step long. Okay, the two-step long was right there. We took 12 ticks out of that. Then we come up. We're then going to reverse, right, come back down, and we're going to grab a rising trigger line. Now, notice my trigger line is above my swing high. It's got a nice steep slope to it. I'm going to look for momentum to curl and point back up. As you can see right here, momentum curls and points back up. And so that all tells me get ready for this wave pattern long using that potential re-entry. We took 2 off at 5, 1 off at 9, 1 off at 7. That's 10, 19, 26 ticks or 260 USD. All right, guys, so 2 back-to-back winners. The two-step reversal bounced off the low of day, reversing the short-term trend. Then we got a re-entry. We got bounced out a little bit early on the two-step long, getting in for a wave long here, just about 10 minutes apart. Okay, so we took 26 ticks out of the first trade, 112 ticks there out of the first trade on gold there. Back-to-back winners. Let's keep moving. We had a challenging day. Guys, for some reason, after 10:30, the market just went completely flat and sideways. Really got very concerning when we saw 2 back-to-back losses here, and we really had to play a little more cautious at this point. Now, the short-term trend was up. And this, guys, this is one of those situations where we knew right away the market was going to give us a tough time with this because we saw big run up, right? That was the first thing. See this on the crude here? We had this big jump, right? We had a 50, 60 tick jump. Now, as you guys know, whenever we see a big jump, we expect to see a big drop. So we come up, we test the high of day here. We test the high of day. I'm thinking the high of day is going to break, right? No reason not to. We mark up our swing low, and there's the break below that swing low for your two-step pattern short. 63 was the fill. Now, of course, right away here, we saw momentum get real whippy. We saw buyers come back in the tape, and it began to kind of slosh back and forth, big buyers, big sellers. And by the time I could really get a handle on who was in control, I was underwater by 2 ticks, and I got out of the trade for a minus 8 ticks. So 4 contracts, minus 2, that's going to be negative 80 USD. Now, usually, once we see that, we'll usually learn from that, and we'll be able to now grab a winning trade afterwards. In fact, some of our biggest winning trades usually come directly after a losing trade because we make some small mistake, we realize the mistake, and then we learn from it, and we execute with confidence. Well, guys, something was in the water here, whether it be a trend line or we had that 73.50 level right below us. I think it had to do with that trend line and the half big round number. Remember, guys, 73 right, is a big round number. Well, 73.50 would be a half big round number. Now, this was a level we had marked up on Wednesday last week, and we're still watching this level here, 73.50, so that could have also played in. Now, I don't do this very often, but we took back-to-back losses here, right? Took the 10.53 two-step short, and then I looked for a re-entry, trying to grab a short off a wave short here at 61s. This one really didn't look good. It came down a couple ticks, almost filled our first target, then whipped around against us. You can see down bottom here, momentum really giving us a hard time here. Never really confirmed very cleanly, and I took an early exit for minus 4 on the second trade. So I lost 8 ticks in the first trade, 16 ticks, right? I gave back 24 ticks here in a matter of 2 trades, right? Not too happy about it, but clearly now something was in the water there on crude. So, of course, I'm sitting on my hands a little bit. I'm going to give it a little more room to break, above or below there. We didn't see anything else, though, this morning. Okay, so we took 2 trades on crude to finish up our morning on crude. Both of them were losses. So we gave back 24 ticks there. You can see at this point, guys, we could be a 200 tick day if it wasn't for those losses. That's all right, though. We'll get back on the horse, as we always do, and keep following those rules. So we knew crude was going to be a little bit of a challenge right now. Let's go over to the Russell. Right, the Russell, pretty much our favorite E-mini market. We get the short-term trend down, right? See the slope of that trigger line pointing down. We're going to break below support here at 606. We mark up our swing low. We break below that swing low, and there's your first trade of the day on the Russell. This is on an 8-range chart, right? Kind of a scalping time frame. 03.9 was the fill. 2 off at 4, 1 off at 2. Move that stop to entry -1. You can see what happens is it got us our +4. Bounce back up to stop us out. 12 ticks in. And then, of course, I looked for a wave pattern short here. The wave pattern short, as you guys know, we're going to come down. We'll bounce off the lows, and we'll look for a short trade here for a re-entry. Again, anytime we take a breaker pattern short, unless you see this thing drop 100 ticks, guys, I'm always looking for the wave pattern short to get back in the trade. 3.8 was the fill here. Had to grab an early exit, though, guys. You can see what happened. It really curled and whipped around against us. Momentum didn't look too good. Momentum curled against us there. You can see it got real choppy here, of course. It looked like a real good pattern because we got below that swing low level. Right? Remember, we had to get below that swing low level. And once we get below that swing low, right, that's going to be a perfect spot to enter for a wave pattern. Okay, didn't get much out of it, though. You can see it. It eventually ended up dropping, which means we were on the right side of the market. But something here, again, was just kind of getting in our way today, whether it be low volume because of the holiday weekend or whether it be just simply because we're above that 600 level. Right? We had the 600 big round number there below us. So that could have been it as well. Anyways, we lost 20 ticks, though, on that second trade. Already made 12 ticks, though, on the previous trade. Okay, so we ended up for a -8, right, on that Russell. All right, guys? -8 on that Russell. And then finally here, right, we finished up with a nice big winning trade on the Russell as well. Right, nice big winner here at 1126, right, to finish up on the Russell. This is a 21 range chart, so of course you're looking at the 21 range here, much slower than a 4 range or an 8 range. So a 21 range can be more of a position trader, right, or a swing traders, right, type of chart here. And now this is a perfect example of how we can use the same patterns on really any time frame. Short-term trend up. We're going to bounce off the high of day. We mark up our swing low, right? We bounce below that swing low, and there's your 2-step pattern short. Now, guys, notice here, our entry right below 03s, actually should have been just below 04s, but we didn't get momentum confirm, right? Momentum didn't confirm until, boy, we had already moved down a little bit, so I didn't get my entry here till 03s. And the biggest thing is that you can see we had all this choppy price action before it ended up tumbling. So kind of a frustrating trade to see work out here because we'd already planned ahead. We were going to take half off at 1.5, and then a quarter off 97.5, and a final quarter off at 95 even. So you can see, guys, if it wasn't for this darn choppy period right here, we had our entire trade planned out, and we would have had all 3 profit targets filled. Look at that nice big move to the downside there. That's okay, though. We got bounced out early, right? Took 2 off at 4, 2 off at 2. That's going to be 12 ticks, 120 USD. So even though we had a 50-point winner here, right, on the Russell, we still had this choppy consolidation here before it dropped. But as you can see, though, guys, we knew where the pattern was. We knew exactly what to expect, guys, in another day here making money here at schooltrade.com. 126 ticks, everybody. Another 100-tick day here in the room. Let's prep for Wednesday, July 7th. Now, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we got members-only training. We'll talk about our new line alert indicator. We'll talk about the slower time frames. We'll also go over all the setups, right? All of our patterns, our rules. We'll show you guys how to set up charts, indicators tomorrow in our members-only training. So be here, guys, tomorrow. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow, guys, at 7:45. I'm sorry, that's an old slide. We are not closed on Friday. We're open all week this week. So 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time, guys. Webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so we'll do members training tomorrow. And don't forget, guys, the beginner's course is always recommended for all you free trial guests. If you're here as a trial guest right now, grab a copy of the beginner's course. That will give you all the information you guys need to know to trade along with us in our live trade room. Hope the video helps. Another 100-tick day here in the room. 4 out of the last 5 trading days, guys, have been 100 ticks or more. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. My name is Joseph James. We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye for now.